Please watch this video until the end to receive the full message and the closing charge that will ignite your courage.
챕터 1 The lesson carved in steel.
I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. That truth was carved into my bones during the darkest campaigns, written in the sweat of watches and the clang of swords. As a Templar, I stood under banners heavy with history, and I saw fear like a shadow that clung to every heart, mine and those who marched beside me. To deny fear is to deny what it means to be alive. Fear is the drum that signals danger. Courage is the steady hand that answers the drum and chooses the path forward. In the hush before dawn, when the wind bit and the world seemed brittle as glass, I learned to listen to fear instead of pretending it was not there. I learned to name it, to look it in the face. Doubt, loss, the memory of men I could not save. I learned that acknowledging fear did not weaken resolve. It refined it. The sword I carried became more than iron. It was the instrument of choice, an extension of will. Each step I took toward the field of battle was not the absence of trembling knees, but the decision to walk despite the trembling.
챕터 2 The dance of fear and duty.
Fear seeks to isolate. It whispers that you stand alone, that the burden is yours and yours only. Duty, by contrast, calls you to stand with others, to form ranks, to bind fate to the fate of your brothers and sisters. The Templar oath teaches that courage is communal. It is born where one heart steadies another, where one voice says, forward, when 100 would retreat. On the field, there were moments when panic rose like a tide. The enemy does not always strike with steel. Sometimes they strike with surprise, with loss, with the sudden absence of certainty. In those moments, I learned to hold formation within and without. I steadied a trembling comrade. I spoke plain words to a frightened ally. I took responsibility for the steadying of spirits. Courage became a practiced kindness, a deliberate choice to hold the line not only for my own survival but for the survival of all who trusted me. Chapter 3 The Forge of Adversity. Adversity is a relentless smith. It hammers, it bends, it tests the temper of your soul. Yet it is in that hammering that steel is made. I have stood amid ruined banners and scorched earth, and I have felt the ache of failure like a chain around my neck. But every defeat was instruction, every retreat, a lesson in strategy and humility.
Triumph over fear is not a sudden arrival.
It is slow work, repetition, reflection, and refinement. To triumph is to accept that fear will return. It is to accept that bravery is not a constant state but a muscle to be exercised. Begin small. Face the fear that shames you in private.
Speak the hard truth to someone you love.
Step into a room where you are uncertain. These are not grand battles, but their victories are the rivets that hold greater courage together. The warrior who has mastered such small confrontations will find himself steadier when the great storms come.
챕터 4 페이스 1 And the quiet flame.
Faith is not always the doctrine written in a book. It is the quiet flame that keeps the watch through the night. For me, faith meant trust in purpose, in training, in the men and women who stood shoulder to shoulder.
Courage feeds on purpose.
When you know why you stand, fear loses some of its power. Will is the daily choice to tend that flame. It is waking when the bone-deep fatigue says to stay in bed. It is speaking when silence would be easier. It is acting when inaction would be safer. The Templar heart is trained to choose, to accept fear, to bind it with purpose, and to convert trembling into action. In the quiet moments between battles, tend your flame. Read, reflect, train your body and mind. Build rituals that remind you of the truth. You are stronger than you think when you choose to be. Chapter 5 The Courage to Lead and to Follow. Leadership is not always the point of the spear. Often it is the bearing of burdens that no one else sees. The clerical work, the late-night planning, the quiet counsel given to a frightened soul. True leaders show courage by admitting weakness as well as strength. They ask for counsel. They forgive mistakes, both their own and those of others. They hold people accountable with compassion and discipline. And to follow well is also an act of courage. To trust another with your life, or with a task you cherish, is to risk disappointment. Yet when followers are brave, leaders are empowered. The Templar who understands this dances between command and submission, knowing that both require courage. the courage to stand up and the courage to yield when the cause demands it.
챕터 6 유어 차어지 트리엄프 오버 더 섀도우.
So here is the charge I give you now, from a hand that has held sword and shield and from a voice that has watched comrades fall and rise again. Let fear be honest with you. Name it. Measure it. Then act. Courage is not a mask to be donned. It is a discipline to be practiced. Train your body, sharpen your mind, and fortify your spirit. When you face the enemy within, doubt, shame, grief, remember the oath of the Templar heart, to stand for what is right, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, to walk forward when retreat would be easy. You may not carry a sword or wear armor, but your daily battles are real. They are the battles of recovery, of speaking truth, of finishing what you start. Each small triumph over fear multiplies. The person who says, I will try, and then acts, even in fear, becomes the person who reshapes destiny.
고 포어스 위드 스테디 피트.
Honor fear as a signal, not a master. Let your courage be measured not by the absence of trembling, but by the weight of your choice to proceed. Walk toward the field with purpose. Stand with others.
텐드 유어 플레임.
Lead with integrity and follow with trust. These are the acts that turn fear into triumph and men and women into warriors of purpose. If these words moved you, please subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, give this video a like, leave a comment with your thoughts and experiences, and share the video with someone who needs to hear this message.